So, economic and social disadvantages remain powerfully linked with color, and this linkage exacts an enormous toll on the perception and reality of opportunity in America, stated by P.E. Jeanette in her 2017 article, Understanding Selective College Access for Minority, Low-Income High School Students. The Cal Poly Opportunity Grant is a grant created to increase diversity at Cal Poly University. I believe this grant should take place. I do believe there is some adjustments to be made within how the grant is created and how the grant is funded and where it is distributed. Today, I want to mainly focus on how the grant is funded. The first thing I want to get across is that Cal Poly is full of white people. It is the least diverse school in the CSU system, with over 50% of its total population as being white, while the average for the CSU and UC system is less than half of that stated from the graph provided by the Cal Poly Opportunity Grant website, where they get their data from the census, the CSU main website, and the UC main website. So, why does Cal Poly have zero diversity? Linked with diversity and ethnicity, low-income students statistically require more financial aid than that of the Caucasian ethnicity. This can be seen through U.S. Census data, and these students are discouraged to come to Cal Poly because of Cal Poly's inability to provide them with the correct financial aid that they require in order to go to school here. In her 2015 article, This is What Happens When You Slash Funding for Higher Education, Michelle Goldberg states, after the crash of 2008, almost every state in the nation cut its funding for higher education. To go further into the statement, budget cuts equal no room in the budget for financial aid. The UC system has a system where they are able to provide low-income, racially ethnic students with enough financial aid to cover that of tuition, housing, and food and books fees. Cal Poly only has enough room in their budget to cover the tuition fees. And at Cal Poly University, the cost of attendance is much higher than that of a UC or any other CSU because of the cost of living. The cost of attendance includes not only tuition and fees, but things like room and board to books. This is an honest quote by Jamal Abdul Akim in his article, Experts Say Low-Income Students Needs Exceeding Basic Financial Aid, written in 2016. Cal Poly wants to better represent the diversity within the state of California and believes the Opportunity Grant is the only way to do so. Now I'm going to describe to you how the grant works. So the original idea for the grant is for the class coming in the fall of 2018 to pay $2,010 additional dollars for their 4 years at Cal Poly as an undergraduate student. So the class of 2019 would pay $2,010 on top of their out-of-state tuition for all 4 years that they attend undergraduate school here at Cal Poly. Then every succeeding class up to 2021, each class would pay an additional $2,000 and some odd dollars throughout their time at Cal Poly. So after the class of 2021, every single out-of-state student would have to pay $8,080 on top of their out-of-state tuition to come here to Cal Poly. $8,080 plus the additional $21,300, which is the out-of-state tuition fee, counts for a 38% increase in their total tuition. This is not including the exceedingly overwhelming cost of living here in San Luis Obispo. Now I want to take a break from the statistics and ask those people in the class, how many people in this class are out of state? Now, how many people in this class have a friend, a close friend, an acquaintance, or somebody that they know that's out of state? Hopefully everybody's raising their hand. Cal Poly has a quota that 15% of the students here come from out of state. 15% accounts for a little bit over 3,000 students. And this grant wants to add an additional amount of money to their tuition in order to pay for low-income and racially ethnic students to come here to Cal Poly, because we're trying to increase diversity. I believe that this is a good-hearted intention, but I believe the funding for the grant can can come about in different ways. My solution is to distribute the funding for the grant across all students at Cal Poly. So instead of a little bit over 3,000 students paying $8,000 additional dollars per year, it's 20,000 students paying an additional $1,000 per year. I believe that this solution is much more efficient, much more cost-effective, and lessens the load on that of out-of-state students. So like I said before, this grant is good-hearted, and I believe it is something that Cal Poly should implement into its process. The grant is necessary in order to promote a diverse and cultural student body, and the school cannot raise sufficient funds elsewhere. Given that teaching is the most common aspect of all institutions of higher education, regardless of their focus on research, tuition paid by students remains one of the most important means college and universities have to raise revenue, as stated by Conchi Gonzalez in 2017 in his article about the heterogeneous non-resident student body. Cal Poly, so the idea came about to raise state tuition to increase revenue, came from the first state of Michigan, which began a trend of gentrification in higher education. The pattern is clear. With state appropriations for higher education still below pre-recession levels, many public institutions have increased the average price of net tuition for all students, and especially out-of-state students, while simultaneously increasing the number of out-of-state students. This statement with evidence and research provided by Academia in the 2017 article, Balancing the Budget on the Backs of Out-of-State Students. In my personal opinion, I believe diversity comes in multiple different ways. Not only in social class, not only in diversity, but also in the amount of students here at Cal Poly from out of state. I believe California and every other state has their own culture that I want to experience here at the school. With this proposed idea of funding the Cal Poly Opportunity Grant all on the backs of out-of-state students, it would discourage any out-of-state student from coming to Cal Poly, especially because people tend to forget that out-of-state students apply to Cal Poly even if they are low income as well. T.B. Herbert states, "We must increase our understanding of high-ability students from economically vulnerable families who move on to colleges and universities, specifically first-generation college students from low-income families," in his 2018 article, An Examination of High-Achieving First-Generation College Students. These students can come from anywhere, not only California, but all other states across the United States. This is why I want to balance the budget and distribute the cost of the Cal Poly Opportunity Grant in order to provide these students with the opportunity to come to Cal Poly, but from anywhere across the United States. There's a similar program shown by Cal Poly Scholars. As shown by a similar program implemented by the Cal Poly Scholars Program, gives financial aid to those low-income students who qualify, and amongst those students there's successful higher graduation rates. So the problem of low-income students graduating college, which is about 11 people out of 100, statistically increases by 3 to 5% with programs such as Cal Poly Scholars, and the Cal Poly Opportunity Grant is similar to this and will show similar results. This can be seen across the entire United States. Student aid is widely used as a tool to promote higher education participation among individuals from disadvantaged groups. Empirical evidence suggests these policies are effective finding increases of up to 5% of the total population, as stated in the Economics of Education article written by Lorraine Dearden in 2014. So, this is me teaching you all about the Cal Poly Opportunity Grant and why it is necessary. But what we should do to make it better. Now, this is me telling you to get involved. Go to your portal and read about it more. Send an email to President Armstrong, as he has the final say in the approval of the grant. Speak up about the injustice that our out-of-state students are about to experience. If you're interested in actually contacting President Armstrong, the Cal Poly Opportunity Grant Office, or the President's Office, contact information is presented here if you can read it. Thank you.